my dad's ulcers disappeared. I don't know when they disappeared. That one I don't know. I just heard him one day saying that nowadays I can take anything and I don't have a problem. So so I got health as a first benefit. But then I followed up the business, did the business. By the age of 30, I retired into Neolife. My goal was to retire by the age of 30, and I quit employment to be self-employed by the age of 30. One of my dreams was to be my own boss. I really wanted to be my own boss. I didn't want to take orders from anybody. I wanted to wake up when I finish sleeping and to work when I want to work and set my own schedule. So I achieved that from Neolife. Now, I've also achieved many things, bought a lot of properties, bought many cars. I'm a landlord courtesy of Neolife. So Neolife is a total value opportunity. It also enables you to empower other people and help them succeed and create a story even better than yours. And that's what I get excited about with Neolife. You help somebody and he ends up owning property, he ends up driving a nice car. I have in my team people who earn over 100,000 shillings a month. And I mean, that to me is just amazing. So today I'm here to talk about Supergrow. And if you can make me a co-host so that I can be able to share my screen. Supergrow is one of our amazing products that we have in Neolife. And I started dealing with Supergrow when in 1996. When it came to Kenya, the people who started using Supergrow are the big farmers, the Delameres and the like. And the reason for that was because it came in a 5-liter jerry can only. And since that, I don't know, Martha, are you the host? Can you allow me to share my screen?
Okay.
Make me a co-host if possible.
Yeah, you are a co-host already, Fred.
I am. Okay.
Yes.
Because it says host disabled participant screen sharing. That's what it's saying.
Okay.
Okay, I think I know what happened. I'm on 2 gadgets.
Okay.
I'm on my laptop and my phone. So I think we allowed the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, let me just, I think he allowed my he allowed my phone, not my laptop.
Okay, so what do we do?
Just make me a co-host on my on the gadget that is on the screen.
You are on both.
Okay.
Okay. So. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm trying to see. Okay, fantastic. So before we look at the benefits of Supergrow, it's good to look at what are some of the challenges that farmers face where farming is concerned, because Farmers face several challenges which can be sorted out with Supergrow. The first thing is depleted soils due to runoff and soil erosion, expensive agricultural outputs, pests and diseases, unpredictable seasons and dry spells. Yeah. Then over-reliance on chemical-based fertilizers and pesticides, and lack of good education. These are some of the challenges that farmers face today that actually stop them from producing maximum, or rather having maximum production. Now, on your screen, there's a gentleman called Jerry Brasfield, who is the founder of Neolife. It is because of Jerry that we have Supergrow today, because Jerry started off on a mission to make the world a healthier and happier place. And he wanted to create a world chemical-free, where you are eating natural and organic food, and a world where that is actually disease-free. And that was the motivation for actually coming up with Supergrow, because Supergrow is actually formulated to increase the yield, but without adding chemicals to the farm. So Supergrow looks like that. And what is Supergrow? Supergrow is a multi-purpose agricultural adjuvant. It's specifically formulated to work with modern crop treatments and applications. Now, many people will ask you, do I need to use fertilizer if I'm using Supergrow? The answer is yes and no. Yes, if your soil is depleted and you feel that you need, maybe you've taken your soil to be tested and you're told it lacks certain nutrients, then you can actually get that nutrient and use it together with Supergrow. But you can also use Supergrow by itself and manure, and it will still do very, very well. So it all depends on the type of soil that you have, but Supergrow can work with or without fertilizer. But again, the disclaimer I put there, it depends on the type of soil you have and the nutrients that are in there or lack of that are in there. Yeah. But if you use it together with farm inputs, it enhances the performance of those particular farm inputs. Now, these are proven results about Supergrow. And this is actually the main function of Supergrow. Number one, improves soil penetration and availability of water, improves pesticide performance, improves fungicide performance, and improves crop yield. That is Supergrow in a nutshell. That's what Supergrow does. Improves soil penetration of water, making water available, improves pesticide performance, fungicide performance, and crop yield. Now, these are the benefits that most farmers will be interested in. Now, how does it do that? How does it actually enable the crop to access nutrients from the soil? Now, Supergrow makes water wetter. By making water wetter, what happens is that Supergrow helps the water to actually sit below the hard pan. If you look at the diagram on your left, you can see that in a normal situation where you haven't put Supergrow, the water will actually go to just the topsoil, and the roots will only survive on this topsoil. But when you spray Supergrow, you find that now the water is able to go below the hard pan. And by so doing, it's able to break the hard pan. So the roots of the crops are able to access nutrients which are lying below the hard pan. As a result, your crops will grow faster and your production will be higher. And you can see some of the things that Supergrow will do. It's an emulsifier of oils, it's an adjuvant, it's a spreader, and it has a sticker in it, and it's a wetting agent. Yeah. It's a spreader, so that means that the fertilizer you have put will be better utilized by the plant. It's a sticker, so the fungicides will stick and the pesticide will stick on the foliage. So it will actually do a good job for you there. Now, Supergrow can actually be used anywhere where you are using water. And you can mix it with fertilizers, pesticides, fungicides, herbicides. It's also used as a sticker and a penetrant to improve penetration in the crop for longer. And it's also an emulsifier. It spreads and dissolves oils for improved soil oil dispersion. Yeah. Then Super Grow will enable adhesion and retention of water on plant surfaces. It actually gives a greenhouse effect on the plant. And what happens with Super Grow is that when you spray it, especially in the evening, you find that it's able to harvest the dew for you. And that is why, whether it is raining or not, whether it is dry or wet, you can still use Super Grow. In fact, I normally say that so long as your crops have germinated and you're using Super Grow, you will have a harvest. Yeah. Now, we've talked about it being a penetrant for fungicides and pesticides. It also improves protection of the crop for longer. Now, Super Grow, we've said, actually makes water available to the plant. And available water, that means water that the dew, it condenses the dew at night. And it also helps to store some water. When you spray Super Grow, the water sinks to the waterbed. Then when the heat comes and hits the surface, the moisture is able to rise and the crop is able to utilize that water. So you find that you're able to keep a reservoir for yourself of water during the wet season in the waterbed, which later you can utilize, courtesy of Super Grow. Yeah, so you actually are able to utilize water thoroughly. I remember a case of a customer of mine who was a greenhouse, and she used Super Grow in her greenhouse, and she found that she used to water daily. In fact, some days she would water twice a day. But after using Super Grow, she was only watering 3 times a week, and which meant a lot of savings for her in terms of fuel for pumping the water into the greenhouses. Yeah. Now, Super Grow will deliver life-sustaining moisture deeper into the plant root system. This not only brings more water to where it is most needed, but reduces water loss by evaporation and runoff. Yeah, that is just what I was explaining. Then Super Grow is very economical. It is sold as a concentrate, 1 liter, 5 liters. And you can use for all types of crops and mix it with any kind of application. Now, there was a test and research that was done by University of Nairobi. This test took 4 years to do, and they planted 8 times. So it was a thorough test, and it was supervised by the Kenya government through the Pest Control Board and CARI. And they tested Super Grow, and they wanted to find out how does Super Grow work. And the following were the results that they got based on that test. Now they took Super Grow and they mixed Super Grow with a fungicide, and they sprayed it on French beans. And in this case, they were testing it on angular leaf spot disease. And then they took fungicide and a competitor's wetting agent, and fungicide and water. And you can see, if you look at the graph on the left, you can see Super Grow gave them 41% more harvest. Actually, it gave them 41% harvest. The one for fungicide and a competitor's wetting agent only gave them 37%. And then fungicide and water, it gave them 36%. So you can see there's a clear margin in terms of decreasing the angular leaf spot disease, where Super Grow is concerned, as compared with the competitor's product, and also just using water and a fungicide. So that means that Super Grow makes fungicides work better on angular leaf spot for French beans. Then they tested it on aphids and whiteflies. And again, they did the same thing. They took pesticide and Super Grow. Then they took pesticide and a competitor's product, and then pesticide only. And they started off, of course, with the whiteflies. And you can see again, the performance of the whiteflies was better. Aphids as well, the performance was better when used pesticide and super grow. And this performed better than pesticide and a competitor's product and the pesticide only. So you can see that with super grow again, when you mix it with a pesticide, the performance or the reduction of whiteflies and aphids was more thorough when you actually mix super grow with the pesticide. And that's actually what it is showing you there, just showing you what I've just shared with you, just to see what we are talking about there. Then they looked at it in terms of maximizing the crop yield, because we had been claiming that super grow gives you double harvest. But they decided to confirm that, and they took super grow and they used it again with the fungicide and water, and then they used the fungicide and water. Now these are the same test done on French beans. And again, they found that super grow and the pesticide and the fungicide worked better than without super grow. That is on French beans. Yeah, the other one before we have just seen, but this one is on French beans. They used a fungicide and they used a pesticide with super grow, and they still found it working better. Then they also used the same thing on tomatoes, and they took a pesticide and super grow and a pesticide only, and they compared, and they found that super grow did a better job. Again, fungicide on tomatoes, they used the fungicide plus super grow and the fungicide only. And this time they were dealing with early blight, and the tomatoes, the tomatoes that had been sprayed with fungicide and super grow actually responded better as far as clearing early blight is concerned. And the same for clearing aphids and whiteflies in tomatoes. So you can see clearly that super grow is actually making a big difference, and it does make a big difference for the farmer when you use it together with farm inputs. Now, some pests like red spider mite, there you can see the red spider mite, you can see the damage it does to crops. And when you use super grow again on red spider mites, they used pesticides and super grow and insecticide plus a competitor's wetting agent, and they still found super grow much better together with an insecticide in terms of controlling red spider mite. Then they also used it on roses, and they were dealing with mildew, and they used a fungicide and super grow, and they used fungicide plus a competitor's wetting agent. Again, they found that super grow performed better with a fungicide on roses than using the competitors with without super grow. So those were tests done, and we were given the results. And in those tests, they also confirmed that when you use super grow, you get 167% more harvest. And here we are talking about maximizing the crop yield and profits. Not just the crop yield, but also profits. And how do the profits come in? When you're using super grow, if you're buying 3 bags of fertilizer, you'll only need 1, because it's a very effective spreader. So you're able to save at least almost 2/3 of your farm expenses on fertilizers, on pesticides, fungicides, and the like. So, and the crop yield increases. So when you compare the reduced expenses plus the increase in the crop yield, then you realize that actually your profit goes beyond the roof. Yeah. And I can tell you, like, there's a farmer I dealt with in Ravine, and he used super grow on his shamba. It's a 3-acre farm. He was harvesting about, at best, 20 bags, at best 20 bags. But after using super grow, he actually planted with it. And by the best way to use super grow is that you can plant with it. What do I mean plant? Like for him, what he did, he dug the trenches, then he sprayed super grow in the soil before he actually planted. And then after spraying, gave it a few days, then he planted now. And after planting, he sprayed again. And he continued spraying for about 4 or 5 times in the lifetime of the crop. Now, as a result of doing that, he was able to harvest 65 bags, whereas before, without using Supergrow, he could only manage 20 at best, between 15 to 20. So you can see the difference that Supergrow actually does for you. It does an amazing, amazing job. Now, some key facts about Supergrow: it is versatile, it's economical, it's 1,000 to 1 ml per liter. But I must say here that if you're dealing with very thick soils like black cotton soil, then you can even go to 60 ml per liter. If you're dealing with depleted soils, you can even do 40 ml per liter of water. If you're in an area that has a bit of waterlogging, you can also increase the dosage from 1,000 to 1. Instead of 20 ml for 20 liters, you put either 40 ml for 20 liters or 60 ml for 20 liters of water. There's a principal in Kakamega who had a serious issue in her farm. One part was flooding all the time, and she could not grow anything in that part of her farm because of flooding. And I sold her Supergrow, and I told her just spray 60 ml, mix 60 ml for 20 liters, then spray in that farm. And they did that. The next day when they woke up, the water had disappeared, 100%. There was no water in that farm. And they were so shocked because that issue of flooding had troubled them for many, many years. And it would be a source of mosquitoes and all these frogs and all that, crickets making a lot of noise because they could not get rid of that water. But after spraying Supergrow, the water sank to the waterbed and the place became dry. So Supergrow will help you to manage flooding. Now, it is safe, easy to use and handle. It's non-toxic, non-caustic, non-flammable. It's multi-purpose for both indoor and outdoor plants, and it has a proven performance. Yeah, it has a proven performance. That is Supergrow. And if you look at the properties of Supergrow, Supergrow is an agricultural wetter. It's a sticker that improves retention of spray on the plant surface, and enhances distribution of whatever you spray on the plant foliage. It reduces surface tension of the spray mixture, thus improving wetting properties. It also improves spreading properties of pesticides and fertilizer, therefore improving their efficacy. It may also be used for cleaning spraying equipment. You can actually use Supergrow for cleaning equipment. Now, Supergrow is pretty safe. I can tell you it's a product that is amazing. It's actually pretty safe, and it can never harm you in any way. I can tell you, for me, I think I've done everything with Supergrow, from washing the house, washing utensils, even showering. I've ever showered with Supergrow, and it makes cold water colder and hot water wetter, hot water hotter, and cold water colder. So you should try it. It's an interesting experience. But that's just to tell you that Supergrow is safe, and it doesn't have any chemicals in it. Okay, we've talked about the dilution. So let's look at a bit of testimonies. You can see those bananas, the way they are looking yummy and full. I've ever sprayed Supergrow on 2 banana trees that were next to each other. And I did it for my dad because he could not believe that I knew what I was doing when I was telling him about Supergrow. And the one that I sprayed has always been ahead of the other one that I didn't spray. So that tells you that Supergrow will make a difference for your banana. Your covers, the size and the quality improves. Actually, the quality is a big deal. I remember a case of some farmers, 2 farmers in Nyeri, Karatina to be precise. One of them refused to use Supergrow, but one agreed to use Supergrow. Now, the one that agreed to use Supergrow had a smaller foliage to harvest 50 bags of coffee. But the one that refused to use Supergrow had a bigger farm. So he was able to harvest 100 bags of coffee. Now, the funny thing that happened is that when they went to deliver their yield to the factory, our farmer who had used Supergrow and harvested 50 bags had more kilos than the one who had 100 bags. So what does that tell you? That Supergrow will actually, it makes the quality of your products better, and it also increases the weight of the crops that you actually, the yields that you've actually produced. So that's the amazing thing about Supergrow. You can see there is your coffee also becomes quite good. When you use Supergrow, you can see the yield there is far much better. On maize, it does very well. I remember a time that in Kitale, we used Supergrow in the farm, and we found that the farmer actually planted with Supergrow. He soaked the seed, planted the next day. And what happened is that whereas before he was getting one maize cob per stem, after using Supergrow, he was able to get 3, 4, and even 5 cobs per stem after using Supergrow. So it's an amazing product where you actually use it in the farm. It does a wonderful job. Now, you can see it with the beans. Again, it actually gives you increased production. You can see it on yams, cassavas, and the like, tomatoes. You can see the effect that it has. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. And I tell you, it's an amazing product. I challenge you, go out and use it, and you will not regret it. When you use Supergrow, your yields go up, your production goes up, the quality improves, you harvest faster, and you make more money. Thank you, and back to you, Martha.
Wow, thank you so much. Can you hear me, Fred? Thank you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a wonderful presentation. Honestly, I've learned a lot today. And we usually say you should learn every day. Yeah.